K&D for sorry, this is my wife and I's
No, that's totally fine. Mine is my married name. I was like last minute trying to like change it, and I was like, oh well.
oh, that's funny. Let me start the video
I
here.
feel like that
Hey,
the
there we are.
stages of the stages of Zooms and how we use the Zoom.
Right? No, for sure. For sure.
So funny. It's fun to meet you in person.
Yeah.
So I'm putting out this full-length album as you've been working on and heard. And I thought it would be cool to kind of show everyone kind of behind the scenes because a lot of people don't know everyone and everything that goes on behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
obviously this is Daniel. How do you pronounce your last name?
Bacigalupi.
Bacigalupi. Okay,
Bacigalupi.
Bacigalupi.
Yep, you got it.
Where's that from? That's so cool.
It's Italian, is the origin of that one.
Oh,
So
neat.
yeah.
I love Italian food. That's like my favorite, pizza and pasta.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so you are a mastering engineer at Infrasonic Sounds. And I'd love for you to tell everyone what you do as a mastering engineer.
Sure. So I'm sure you'll have everyone else give their 2 cents of like what their part of the recording process is. So I won't go into anybody else's, but
Okay.
we're a mastering engineer's job essentially is the final creative step in the record making process. And it's the first step that combines distribution to the client, or sorry, distribution to the audience, along with the creative side of things. So we make, for example, the final production files that will go out to the public to be heard by everybody, bridging that gap between the listener and the people who make the music. Where the job kind of started from was cutting vinyl records back in the day. That is where the term mastering and all that kind of originated. And that was cutting, lacquers, acetates that would become stampers that would eventually become pressed records. And that is sort of the origin story of what we do. And then that morphed in the digital world to us making the final production parts that would become CDs eventually, or cassette tapes. And now it's sort of this, where the final part of that process in giving a record a cohesive sound, making sure it's loud enough to compete with other records on the radio or just in general listening. And we're kind of that last quality step along with the very last creative step of enhancing your audio to the best of its ability.
Yeah, that was beautifully like described. Oh my gosh, you couldn't
Awesome.
have done better. So tell us where you're from. One of the things that really connected with me, I'm from the Midwest, and I know you're from Minnesota.
I am.
Yeah, so kind of tell us like how you got to where you are because you've worked with so many amazing artists from Kane Brown to Parmalee to Levi Hammond to Gabby Barrett. Like those are my favorite artists.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so tell us kind of like how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, it starts back in when I was in high school, really kind of like middle school. I was about 12 years old and just became obsessed with guitar, and wanted, my dad is a guitar player and has been his whole life. And at that time I remember I heard Nirvana's Nevermind for the first time, and I just knew I needed to play guitar after hearing that. And so I had a bunch of bands in high school, and it sort of became like a thing we wanted to record ourselves. And I became really curious about that. And luckily, my dad, being a musician as well, he was kind of up for the challenge. So we started kind of just putting together a little home studio, just like, we would buy one piece of thing and then like a couple months later buy another thing. And eventually we had our own home recording studio. And I knew I wanted to do that as a career, but I didn't know how to. So this would have been back in like 2003. I just Googled audio engineering. And found a few. At that time there was only a couple schools that were doing it. So I knew I wanted a 4-year degree, and I ended up going to Ithaca College in upstate New York, which has a cool, like, I have a bachelor's of music degree. It's almost like a performance degree in trombone, of all things.
Oh, my dad played the trombone.
Yeah, there you go. That's so random.
Yeah, it's so random. I love it.
So yeah, the school had a dual thing there where it's like basically like I have a bachelor's of music degree with a concentration in sound recording technology. So it's a cool like marriage of the two things. Um, and a professor of mine there is this awesome engineer named Alex Perialis, and um, yeah, he ended up hooking me up with an internship at a big mastering studio when I was a senior in college. And that sort of changed my life. I had never really seen mastering in a professional setting. It was kind of this dark art. No one really knew what it was. And being able to see it firsthand, I was like, oh, that's exactly what I want to do. It's like just the right amount of creative control, but also a little bit more technical. Like I'm kind of a blend of those types of people. And so it's been a really great niche that I've been doing now for 13 years here in Nashville. And
Wow, that's
yeah, I
amazing.
just love it.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And how we got connected was through Jonathan Roye, who was introduced to me through one of my producers I work with, Johnny Dibbs.
Oh,
And you guys
nice.
have mastered mixed and mastered a bunch of my stuff. Jonathan's worked with Kelsey Ballerini and Janet
Yeah.
Kramer and Tierra and a bunch of artists I love as well. And he's not able to hop on today, but I would love for you to kind of tell everyone kind of what he does as a mixer. Um,
Sure. Sure. And mixing is kind of the stage that I think that a lot of people think is that's like what they think of when they think of audio engineering. So
right.
mixing is working with all of the individual elements on their own. So you'll have your own track of recorded snare drum, your own track of vocals, your own acoustic guitar track, and you have control over all of those individually. So Jonathan's job is essentially to blend all of those together and make all of those have exactly the right amount of energy where they need to have it so that the song comes through the speakers and gives you the sonic experience that the emotion of the song is trying to convey. And that's actually, I think a lot of people think of it as just like a balancing of instruments, and it's much, much more than that. It's a lot of understanding how different elements in a recording can come together to kind of really create something emotionally special, and that's something that will resonate with a listener. And I think that's something that Jonathan does really well. Is yeah, he puts that energy in the right places so that a mix will push the song where it's supposed to go. Like a great song is always going to be a great song, and a great mix can never fix a great song, but a great mix will take a great song and push it where it should be. So I think that's kind of the big thing that he does. And so when Jonathan's done with his mix, he has a stereo file of the song finished that you can listen to just like any other file, and that's what I work from as the mastering engineer, is that stereo file. So I don't have control over the kick drum or the snare drum. I can only control the whole thing as one entity, whereas he has that sort of individual control.
Yeah, definitely. Every producer, there's three different producers that we worked with on this album, and every single one has been obsessed with the mix. And I
That's
think that,
awesome.
says great things about Jonathan and his work. And so it's just such an honor to work with you guys. And it's funny because usually the next kind of question I ask is like, what is it like working with me? But having it's kind of like we just kind of really email. This is the first time I've met you
Yeah, it's
on Zoom.
true.
And so I can't really, I guess you can't really speak to other what than my emails. I use a lot of exclamation points. So
Well, I can say that it's been very simple. The process has been really easy, and honestly, I think a huge part of that is and I don't know because I wasn't really there for, like you've mentioned, this is the first time we've met. I wasn't there for all of the creative process and everything, but you did a really good you do a really good job of letting engineers kind of do their thing. I don't feel like
yeah,
you didn't give me like a ton of direction or like anything like that. You were kind of just like, do your thing and see how it goes, and it all worked great. And I think it's hard to do that as an artist. It's hard to let go of like the creative control. Sometimes you have ideas that you really it's hard for us then to bring those to life, right, without getting inside of your head. And I think you did it was really easy record to work on. That was also Jonathan did a fantastic job mixing it.
yeah.
But overall, yeah, no, it was super super fun, and I thought it came out great.
Thank you. I know. I believe that, to hire the best people and then let them do their job
Yeah.
and trust you guys to do what you do best because you guys are the professionals and at what you do. And so, I can be more nitpicky in the songwriting or my vocal, but when it comes to the production and what you guys do, I know what sounds good and what I want it to sound like, but
Hmm.
in terms of what I know, I kind of let you guys just do your thing, and I just feel lucky to work with you guys, and you guys make my life easy too. You're always so professional and responsive, and so on time, and
Oh, thank you.
everything. So thank you for saying that, and it's been. I hope to record more music with you guys, and I can't wait for everyone
Yeah.
to hear this new music. It's gonna be so good, and I'm so proud of it. And so, thanks for being on it with us.
Absolutely. I can't wait for the next one as well. Is it been released, by the way? I
So,
don't know.
yeah, so the first single is coming out July 30th, and
Awesome.
the album will be out very soon. We're doing 5 singles and then the full length album. So
Perfect.
it'll probably be maybe even in 2022, perhaps. We'll probably do a pre-save before that, but I'll let you guys know more as it comes. But this will be out on YouTube. So be sure if you're watching right now to like and subscribe and comment if you like what you hear. And I will put Daniel's website link in the thing if you are an artist and looking to hire, a mastering engineer. I highly recommend Daniel. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on board.
Yeah, thanks again. And you have a great weekend. It's a Saturday, so I appreciate you. You're still working in the studio though, huh? I mean,
I am. Yeah, I've got a couple things just to finish up, so
so good.
it's the day's never really over. It's all good.
I know that's the beauty of the industry is, having that flexibility and working for ourselves in a way, being able to
Definitely
work on the
true.
weekends too.
Definitely true. Definitely true.
All right. Well, thank you. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you
Absolutely.
soon.
Thank you too. Bye.